Good morning, everybody. I got hair in my coffee.
Well, you made it, so.
Yeah. Anyways, guys, so as you could tell, we are in more of a studio setting. I've been wanting to do a podcast for a good minute, for a while, and then Jaylena has wanted to do a podcast for a good while. So we figured, hey, let's practice on Coffee with the Crockers. This is not how Coffee with the Crockers is going to be. It's just a test run.
Yeah, me and my best friend Jessica, that you guys have seen in my previous videos, we've talked about doing a podcast for over a year now, and we've just never done it. But I think Jason was talking about how he's going to do his podcast when he has guests. And I was like, that is an amazing idea. That's probably how me and Jessica can do our podcast together and be able to not be in the same place at the same time.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be like a live stream. It'd be more of just you film it and get the audio and then you send it to the other person, do all the stuff behind the scenes. But with more of the podcast style, you'll get better audio. As of right now, normally you don't do a podcast with one mic with two people. This is just a setup that I have, and I am just going to roll with it. This is a microphone to record music, and I got my laptop with my editing software and stuff like that, and I got my little interface over here. We got the headphones on, stuff like that. Honestly, I was just excited to be in the room for the first time. And so I am very, very excited that I could actually utilize the room. We took all of it out and we just put it in the other side.
Yeah, because Jason basically had this room packed with just his stuff that really, I guess, was being used as a storage room. So
yeah, and then
now the living room or the rest of the house
is covered for now. But so yeah, we were going to utilize the new micro tiny house, but that is kind of something that I'm going to be living in for now. So
for the time being, we are going to utilize my car that's just sitting here, not going anywhere right now, as a storage unit.
It's got a lot of seats and trunk space that are not being utilized. So you can still hear the dogs outside because they're going wild. Normally for the podcast, I'll have it set up to where I'm a lot closer to the mic and you won't hear any of that. So if we're quiet, see how you can't hear anything? It's a noise gate and it cuts off anything over a certain level, but we cranked it up kind of louder right now so we both could be in it with one mic. But that's the cool thing of the podcast is it'll literally block everything else out. It'll look good. All that stuff have good audio. And Coffee with the Crockers, for the longest time, y'all kept saying, like, can't hear the audio. And that's why we did the GoPro. But I guess to clarify what the podcast is going to be compared to Coffee with the Crockers, because y'all are probably thinking,
it's the same thing.
Yeah, why do we need two Coffee with the Crockers? So pretty much Coffee with the Crockers is going to stay the exact same, not switching it up, nothing like that. And so very easy for us to record, very easy for us just to like wake up and get going. It's our thoughts on the day as far as off-grid, tiny house living, van life living, our day-to-day thing. We're not really going to do much, outside of that. What we normally do, just our normal, everyday Coffee with the Crockers. It'll be simple. And the podcast is going to be more of...
It's you unleashed.
Yeah, it's actually going to be called the Crockers Unleashed Podcast. And there won't be no frills and thrills and, all the stuff to it, or will there? And
I'm sure there will be.
Yeah, but it gives me the opportunity to be unleashed from this beast of what YouTube is putting me in. So I have just been stuck in tiny house. If I'm not building tiny house, people are mad. When are you gonna start building tiny house? I'm like, bro, this is Coffee with the Crockers. We've never built anything ever. But I kind of brought that upon myself by living in the woods off grid, building a tiny house. And basically, if Jaylene is not doing something in her van, they're like, bro, why are you not? You're not off grid, you're in the city, so Crockers Unleashed will be a platform that I can kind of do whatever I want. And then if Jaylena's not on the road, she could be a guest on it, stuff like that. And then the reason this isn't like the Jason Jaylena podcast is it's Crockers Unleashed. Jaylena's going to have her own podcast soon, hopefully, and that way she can kind of do her own thing. Even we get along very well. I don't know what that noise is, but we get along very well. And see, I gotta
technical difficulties.
I gotta figure out.
We're still working out the kinks here.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It sounds like
Is that
something's beeping? The Jackery. All right, guys. So that was not supposed to happen. Clearly, at this time in the morning, we can't do a podcast because something will start beeping in the other room. So I got to figure out what that is. Some kind of alarm or something. But good thing is that wasn't the podcast stuff. So we're good. But my nose is running real bad today. It's cold. But I guess the beauty of this, kind of what we're talking about with the podcast is, Jaylena will have her own going on because she's wanted to do it for a while. She gets caught up in, she can only do van life and all that. She'll be able to do podcast on whatever she wants, whether it's van life or anything else.
It's going to be any and everything that we could possibly talk about. There's no, there's basically
maybe
no
like
boundaries.
girl talk. Y'all could do like girl talk.
There's gonna be lots of girl talk. Like it will not be family friendly. It will not be made for children. That's for sure.
Oh well, I'm gonna try to keep mine a little more family friendly. Okay for some children. No, so
well, mine's not just me. There's two women with two different opinions talking about all kinds of stuff. So I'm not saying it's always going to be like that.
But you've been warned.
Yes, you have been warned. There may be some moments.
Yeah. But I don't know when you really plan on starting that.
Within the next month or two.
Okay, so be looking out for that. Again, my podcast will be on a separate channel. It won't bog down the Crockers. It won't bog down Call of the Crockers. It won't bog down Crockers Live Action, which is coming out today for the first time. I'm going to go ahead and say, since this will be uploaded, I'm going to say be looking out for Crockers Live Action around, let's say 4 p.m. 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. before it gets dark. We'll do that for the first time, and it should be interesting. Never done it, and so we clearly got enough subscribers on there, so thank you guys so much for that. It's pretty interesting that it worked out that way. Almost within 24 hours, we were like well over the 1,000 mark. I think it's like 2,000 or over 2,000 now. So
I think
crazy.
With Jessica and I, it's not going to be on my channel. It's going to be its own channel, separate from mine, and won't have anything necessarily to do with Leave Her Wild. So
yeah, and I guess to answer some more questions on it, about the podcast and whatnot. Jason, don't you think you already have enough on your plate?
Jason, don't you have too many channels?
Yeah, you're just doing it for the money. Whatever garbage people say.
The podcast is going to be more of like a release, like a
therapy for
ranting
me. Yes.
Session.
I wouldn't say rant. Well, I might rant every now and again.
You're going to rant.
Happens.
We know you.
It happens. But yeah, it gives me a platform to release it,
let loose.
Yeah, so pretty much y'all guys know that my mind is just like all over the place. I need things to do. Really and truly, this podcast is probably going to happen at night when it gets dark at 6 o'clock and I have nothing to do for the next 3 to 4 hours before I go to sleep. So this will give me something to do. It'll give me something to look forward to. And if I've learned anything in life, it's you have to constantly have something to look forward to or you'll get burnt out. That's how people get depressed. And I learned that from working with bands, and I sat in the front of the tour bus one time with Walter, which was the bus driver. Probably the most interesting person you'll ever meet, ever. I don't care who you are. He's probably the most interesting person you'll ever meet, and he has lived a life. And he told me, he said, man, when you get back, what are you going to do? Because we were on the road for like 3 months or something. And I said, honestly, I'm not really sure. He said, well, start figuring it out now. And I was like, why? Like, I don't really plan that far ahead. He said, when you live this lifestyle, and I got treated just like a rock star, just like all the people in the band, he said, you're on this adrenaline high for months at a time. And when bands tour for a year straight, they're on this adrenaline high. And then when they go home, it's not that they want to be depressed. Their body doesn't know how to handle it. Every day when you have that adrenaline of meeting people and being in front of literally thousands upon thousands of people, you have this adrenaline high. And so people go home, and that's why they get addicted to drugs, suicide, stuff like that, because they're not in that environment anymore. So not that I am feeling that way at all. It's just more of, I've learned back then to always have the next thing coming, something to look forward to, and it keeps you happier. And so I thank Walter for that, Walter the bus driver. This will just be something that I can kind of vent on, kind of say stuff. A lot of the stuff that I will talk about will be how the business side of things. I don't really get too far into that. We kind of touched it a little bit on the last Coffee with the Crockers, and that's when I was just like, hey, I got to do this podcast. Like, this is something that a lot of people said, thank you so much for that behind the scenes stuff, and there's a lot of channels that watch a lot of up and coming channels and channels that are bigger than me as well. So it's like, if I could help some people bypass the things that we had to learn, why not? It may be how to use a camera, how to use the camera better, how to make your amateur footage look more professional. I really hate to break this to you guys, but like, my cinematic stuff is so easy. You guys be mad at me if you found out how easy it was to do. But I'm willing to share those tips and tricks with you guys and be able to sometimes show you screen footage of my laptop, teaching you how to edit, how to use the camera stuff. And that's stuff that I've wanted to do for like a year now, if not longer. I just can't do it on the Crockers, and I can't do it on Coffee Crockers because it's not the right platform, and it really messes you up. And then we learned, this will be something too that could be talked about, but we'll kind of hit it quick. Don't post many times a day. That's something that will kill your algorithm. Jared is the absolute worst person at doing this. I actually texted him this morning and I said, quit posting 2 videos in a day. He said, I don't get views anyways. And so it throws off your algorithm, and you really only want to post once a day. We learned that the hard way when we were on the Crocker Homestead, and we were doing Coffee with the Crockers, but all on the same channel.
It really messed us up. We started doing that, and we would do that in the morning, and then our regular video later in the day, and people would just watch Coffee with the Crockers, but not a lot of people would watch because we're obviously just sitting down talking. And then people wouldn't watch our normal video because they already watched Coffee with the Crockers. So,
well, and then they see the notification pop up. They're like, "Oh, Crockers posted a video. Oh, that's from earlier."
Yeah,
and,
I already watched it.
Yeah, so it'll throw it off, and so there's things like that, and then plus things with like your algorithm. Again, this is just a snippet of what, like, we'll go into detail later, all this other stuff. But if your algorithm, we learned, and I'll say this, I'm very reluctant to say some of these tips because I got a lot of haters out there, and I got a lot of people that don't like me, but I guarantee you they're gonna be watching this and they're gonna be learning, and it's gonna help their channels. So part of me is like, I really don't want to help those people at all, but Jaylena made a very good point. If you see their channel starting to do what I'm talking about, haters still watching. So I really, at the end of the day, I can't think that way. It just needs to be, if you're going to help somebody, you should be willing to help everybody, even your enemies. That's very hard for me to say, almost choked. But that's the truth, and you got to be a better person. And I have I guess you can call it a talent. I didn't think it was, but apparently you guys like it. So if I can help people put out better videos, why would I not?
Well, you did this for a living.
Yeah.
You taught me how to do it. So.
Yeah. And I gave, Jared like a crash course. The Sawyers, whenever they got the new camera and stuff, and they started using the same program to edit, I kind of did a crash course, and I was like, all right. Jared's still iffy on some of it, but like Alex picked it up fast, and I was like, holy cow, like either she just really learns really fast, or I'm a freaking awesome teacher. And I realized real quick that Jared didn't pick it up as fast as Alex, so Alex is just a really fast learner. But if I could put it in a video, then you could watch it 100 times if you need to watch it 100 times and stop, go, just, each step of the way. But I don't know. I think the podcast will allow me to do different things and kind of do all that. And honestly, if it ever gets monetized or anything like that, all I'm going to do with any money that's made, which probably won't be a whole lot, I am going to throw it back into my business as far as everything that I'm doing, the Crockers, maybe the tiny house, whatever I'm doing. I'm going to start a new venture. I'm not going to say too much about it, but everyone knows that Shoot Dang has become, I wouldn't say a household name, but a household name within our small community. Everybody's saying like Shoot Dang, especially Des. She's like all about it. And so I want to start a clothing line, and I want it to be Shoot Dang Apparel, and I want to sponsor some channels and stuff like that. And it's just fun. It's another, and I'm not really going to be doing it. I am kind of going to be relying on my family, and I think Matt might actually take over that responsibility, and that's going to be something cool for him. He's pretty excited. He actually talked about it before I even told him what my plan was. So this month, I started really investing in myself and my family. That's why I didn't mind helping my dad get the tractor. We're getting stuff to make our own merch, getting equipment, stuff like that. I just really want to invest and not just blow money on stupid stuff, which I definitely learned living out here. That's a huge waste of your money. Now, I'm not saying I did. I'm just saying I didn't do that this year, and I was able to save money and get out of debt and stuff like that. So once you're out of debt, you want to stay out of debt. So any money you have, if you can invest it to make more money or to keep the money afloat, that's the best thing you can do. And again, I know I'm going like, I should talk about this in the podcast more, but not making $1 million, but making enough to stay afloat. And that's a beautiful thing when we were broke for so long.
Yep. That's all I have to say about that.
That's all I got to say about that. All right. So I guess we'll call it for this one. It's not as long as our normal videos have been.
Well, Coffee with the Crockers probably won't look like this again. This was just kind of like a preview for the podcast.
It's a promo video.
Setup.
Yeah. And again, the audio will be a little bit different because it won't be one mic for two people. I know that sounds like a video. Two people, one mic. Sounds like a video you probably don't want to watch. But that'd be a really good podcast name. Two people, one mic. Everyone would click on it and be like, is this like a parody of that one nasty video? And they probably watch. But
the name of mine and Jessica's podcast,
I keep getting my
really
mustache
good.
hair in my mouth.
The name of our podcast is really good, but I don't want to say it because it's going to be a minute before it comes out. And
do I even know it?
I've told you before, but you probably don't remember.
I don't. So that'd be interesting.
I mean, it's obvious, like it's TVMA.
Yeah. So I guess just for them, will this be shot in your van?
Mine will be shot in my van. I will have a setup in the van that I will show you guys that I'm actually going to try and start building fairly soon. And then y'all will know when it comes out because I'll be building the setup. And then once the setup's done, I'll go help Jessica do hers and then we'll start the podcast.
Yeah. And it'll definitely have to be set up to your solar type stuff and all that. That way you can film it anywhere. And that would also almost be, I'm almost jealous because what if you have an awesome view? You need like a table and you can do your podcast like in front of mountains or like on the edge of like a cliff.
That will be possible.
I'm jealous. I'm going to buy a van and I'm going to build it out and it's going to be strictly for the podcast. And it's just going to have like a garage door on the side that opens.
Hey, I know of one.
Okay. So I'm going to invest in a van.
I almost bought another van, you guys, and Jason talked me out of it.
Yeah, I'm not going to buy a van, guys. But, I told Jaylena, I said, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
So instead, I invested in some better equipment
Yes.
to enhance my videos because I haven't been able to film with my camera or edit with my laptop. I've been doing it all on my phone because I have an iPhone and a PC laptop. And when you're off grid, it's really hard to vlog every day and get videos out. So I was just using my phone. But now, from this day forward, it's all going to be on my computer. And then you'll see, it'll be obvious that I invested in some other equipment. And hopefully my videos are a little more
Polished.
engaging.
Yeah.
The alarm's going off
That's
again.
the timer for us to get off, and so our producers are saying that's enough of this. So, guys, we'll catch you on the next Coffee Crockers. Again, it won't be like this. It's be more podcast style. Let us know if you'd like to see the podcast. Let us know if you don't want to see the podcast. That way, I could go ahead and block you from that channel before it's even created. So,
let me know if you're excited about mine and Jessica's podcast too, because I'm very curious of what you guys have to say about that whole thing.
yeah, so we got goats going crazy. We got alarms going off. This is the Crockers Unleashed podcast. I don't know. Maybe that'll be the intro right there. Who knows? So, guys, we'll see you on the next Cop the Crockers, and it won't be like this.